You'll recall that out in Portland, a right-wing protester was allegedly killed by, or I should say was killed, allegedly by this man, Michael Reinoehl. Reinoehl was I guess, maybe a self-professed, or at least was protesting with anti-fascists against right-wingers and killed, allegedly, a right-wing protester. And he was, well, I wanted to say apprehended by local authorities who had been apparently in some form or another deputized by federal marshals. The federal marshals were also involved in supposedly attempting to apprehend Michael Reinoehl. The reason why I say supposedly is because the New York Times came out with a story a couple of days ago saying that all of the witnesses to this supposed attempt at apprehension said that these federal marshals, or these deputized federal marshals, came out of unmarked cars, guns a-blazing, and shot Michael Reinoehl dead before the guy even had an opportunity to know what was going on. Here's Donald Trump reiterating his claim that he had ordered retribution on this guy, and that's what he got.
But the Democrats smear decent Americans as racist, slander our nation as evil, indoctrinate our children, and incite anti-American riots on our streets that we could control in 25 minutes, as we did in Minneapolis, as we do wherever we go. But they have to invite us in. By law, they have to invite us in. We want to go to Portland so bad. That one would take 15 minutes to set. 15 minutes. And the man that shot another innocent man, this was an innocent man, shot, killed, instantly killed. I said, what happened? Well, we haven't arrested him 2 days, 3 days went by. We sent in the U.S. Marshals. Took 15 minutes, it was over. 15 minutes, it was over. We got him. They knew who he was. They didn't want to arrest him. And 15 minutes, that ended. Anyway, and they called themselves peaceful protesters.
15 minutes, that's all it took to execute this guy. I mean, at one point, I hope we have a Department of Justice that looks into this. We should not be having federal marshals functioning as basically death squads. I mean, I don't know why we need to actually articulate those words. It should be self-evident, but we literally have a president bragging about it on television, and then a bunch of people cheering at the idea. I mean, I remember the debate during the Obama years about the concept of going in and assassinating Osama bin Laden. I was of the mind that we should have attempted to arrest him, or capture him, I guess, as a prisoner of war and put him on trial. And there was a little bit of controversy about the idea that we shouldn't have assassinated him. There were not many voices who expressed that. I was, one of the sort of the people in the distinct minority. But the idea that the president of the United States is actually out there bragging about doing this to an American, to not the person who was considered the greatest evil in the history of the country, essentially, as Osama bin Laden who was a suspect in a murder investigation, was summarily executed by federal marshals. I mean, this is pretty scary stuff.
Well, one definition of fascism that I've seen floating around is when a country, an imperial power, brings its colonial war tactics home and uses them on its own citizens, usually amid a crisis. So I think that fits pretty well.
Yeah, what's crazy about Trump is like all these conversations I remember during the Obama administration, like the Alaki's kid assassination. People, on our side of the aisle would be like, this might come back to actually hurt us if we get the wrong guy in charge. And everyone's like, no, that's not going to happen. And then the very next president immediately sort of proves all those examples.
Well, the weird thing too, the only thing I would say is that like there's not a we had we did an interview with about that, basically sending cops out for an imperial project. I can't remember what the book is now. And people learned techniques fighting communists in places like the Philippines and brought them back to U.S. policing. But there is no, this isn't a scenario where you have some type of legal framework for it. I mean, that's one of the things that I found most reprehensible about the Obama administration was that they created legal frameworks for this type of stuff, like in the assassination of al-Awlaki and his son, for that matter, was the creation of legal frameworks for it. But there was no, the idea that Trump is out there and bragging about an extrajudicial killing, and that's just like story number 7 of the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they don't have to create a legal
how messed
framework
up is
for
our
it.
society that is the case. Honestly, it's like
And cheered for.
Yeah.
They'll
These people miss their Iraq war songs.
Yeah. They'll create a legal framework after the fact if they have to, but there's no indication right now that they're going to be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this goes down and there's, and it's literally, it's like, go to Google News and just see, like, I don't even know if this made it into Google, the front page of Google News, which like you can scroll endlessly. President bragging about an assassination, essentially, of a murder suspect. Put away every aspect of this. This is not a guy. This is like, I don't know, bragging about it. Really sort of stunning.
It's campaign material.
What's that?
Yeah, this is red
It's
meat.
campaign material. Yeah.
Yeah.